Israeli security forces have bombed the Hamas negotiation team in Qatar, in Doha, and this move has drawn widespread criticism, not just in Qatar, but even from the United States of America and some of the opposition parties inside Israel. But what was Israel hoping to achieve? Have they been able to do so? And the road ahead. Joining me on this India First special broadcast is Israel's ambassador to India, Ambassador Reuven Azar. Ambassador, welcome on India Today.
Thank you, Gaurav, for hosting me.
Before I come to this question on what you were hoping to achieve with the bombing of the negotiation team at Doha, Qatar, internally in India, politics on the subject has escalated on Israel's operations against Hamas in Gaza. Pinarayi Vijayan is the chief minister of a very popular state, Kerala. He has said that he strongly condemns India's union government's decision to host Israel's finance minister, calling him a far-right extremist and a chief architect of Israel's brutal occupation and expansionist agenda. He says at a time when a genocide is unfolding in Gaza, entering into an agreement with this representative of the Benjamin Netanyahu establishment is nothing short of betrayal of India's historic solidarity with Palestine. How would you respond to that criticism where they want India to pull back from this association with the Netanyahu government?
Gaurav, Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich came to India not to discuss the future of the Middle East. He came here to do three things: to sign a bilateral investment treaty, a very important treaty that will encourage investments both of Indians in Israel and of Israelis in India. He came here to promote the participation of Indian infrastructure companies in infrastructure projects in Israel, which are going to finance in the dozens of billions of dollars. This is a great opportunity for India. And the third thing he came to do is to increase our financial cooperation, to make sure that transactions between the two countries can work swiftly and cheaply. This is what he came to do. It serves the interests of India, it serves the interests of Israel.
What are areas where India and Israel are deepening their cooperation and coordination through this bilateral and otherwise?
Well, the rise of India as an economic power presents opportunities both for India to be more competitive in the international arena and also for Israelis to source part of their production in India. That means that when we sign this bilateral investment treaty, it will encourage companies from both sides to engage in a much more robust way. It will bring jobs, it will increase trade. It's a great blessing for our countries, and I'm thankful to the Indian government, and especially to the Minister of Finance that actually has expedited this negotiation. Israel is the first OECD country that signs this agreement with India, and the sixth country that India has ever signed this agreement with. In addition to that, the infrastructure opportunities in Israel are huge, and India has developed an immense capacity when it comes to building projects, whether it be metro, power stations, roads, railways, and we invite Indian companies to come and participate in these tenders in Israel.
Okay. Let me now, Ambassador, before I come back in a moment on other aspects of India-Israel relationship, talk about the criticism that's coming your way for the bombing of the negotiations team in Doha, Qatar. Hamas said while 5 members of its team had been killed in the attack, including the son of Hamas's exiled Gaza chief and top negotiator Khalil al-Haya, it also said Israel had overall failed in what the Hamas called was an assassination attempt of the ceasefire team. So in your assessment, Ambassador, what was achieved in this targeting of the negotiation team?
We targeted the perpetrators of the terrible massacre of the 7th of October. This terrorist leadership of Hamas, these were the people that commanded the massacre of 1,200 Israelis on the 7th of October, the rape, the burning of babies, the kidnapping of 250 hostages. These are the people in charge of these terrible crimes. And terrorists should know there is no place they can hide from their heinous crimes. So Israel took a precision strike in order to remove them, especially in the backdrop of the fact that they have been stalling negotiations for the last year. we were utilizing military pressure and negotiations. But what Hamas wanted, with the support of Qatar, is to remain in power in the Gaza Strip. We're not going to allow that. We stated from the 8th of October, one day after this massacre began, that Israel will release all the hostages and will make sure that Hamas cannot rearm or regroup, and they have to move away from the Gaza Strip. If they do not do that, they will be destroyed.
Okay, but Hamas's top leadership, they were reportedly meeting, at least the information that's come out in public domain, to work on a ceasefire, and it was a US attempt at getting a ceasefire in place. Hostages would have been released within 48 hours of this 60-day truce in exchange of course, Palestinian prisoners and good faith negotiations towards a permanent ceasefire. This strike by Israel, hasn't it undermined such a major attempt at a very crucial juncture?
No, Gaurav, and I'll tell you why. Because Israel has accepted the American proposal, and the Hamas leadership had rebuked the proposal. They have said that they will still be stubborn to keep in control of the Gaza Strip, to get Israel to withdraw and them to take power again. Israel is not going to accept that. It was a non-starter. And this is after 1 year that they have been stalling these negotiations. We are not going to agree to that. The future of Gaza would be a brighter future, a future that the Palestinian people deserve. They have been stalling this release of the hostages and renouncing power for a long period of time on the account of the suffering of their own population. This has to stop. This can stop today. It could stop yesterday. It could stop 1 year ago.
Okay, but tell me right now, Ambassador, what's Israel's game plan? Apparently, according to some reports, you have Hamas in one corner of the Gaza Strip. So will the Israeli forces now go in lock, stock and barrel and destroy them there, even if it means collateral damage? What's the strategy?
Well, we have approved the plans for the taking of the Gaza City. We are now preparing on the humanitarian aspect places for the Palestinian population from Gaza City to move to in order to receive food, water, and medical treatment. We already have announced our intention to enter the city itself. We already control 40% of the city. Hamas is attempting to stop the evacuation of the population. It will not help. It will only cause collateral damage. And therefore, we are continuing this operation, and we are, with a very strong conviction that unless Hamas renounces power, accepts the American proposal, Israel will have to go all the way. We will take the Hamas' biggest stronghold in Gaza City.
And which is the stronghold where Hamas remains, and how long for you to control that entire 100% of the Gaza Strip, if that is what you intend to do? If Hamas prevents Palestinians from leaving, does this mean this genocide of innocents continues, or starvation deaths?
Well, first of all these terms that are linked with genocide and starvation are completely false. There have been victims in Gaza as a result of this war. There has been suffering in Gaza, but there is no intentional starvation, and there is not genocidal intent from the side of Israel. We are taking military action to defend ourselves, and anyone that uses these terms is lying, is actually cooperating with the Hamas propaganda that is trying to stop us from achieving our goals, that is trying to remain in power in the Gaza Strip, that has genocidal intentions against the state of Israel. And even a report of the British government only 2 days ago that was adopted by the British Foreign Minister, has mentioned that Israel is not committing genocide in Gaza. And therefore, these terms are completely false. Israel will pursue its interests because we have a right to defend ourselves, because terrorists have to be removed, both the terrorists in the Gaza Strip and also terrorists in other places. There's no impunity for terrorists.
Okay, so you're saying terrorists are not safe even if they are in Doha, Qatar. But American President Donald Trump, he says he immediately directed the US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to inform Qatar about the impending attack. But then in that position, they were a bit too late to stop the attack. There are analysts who see this as a strain on US-Israel relationship. Do you agree with that the relationship is now under strain and there was lack of coordination between Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his team and President Trump's team?
No.
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 So what do you make of President Trump, his message?
His message basically said that the forces, the American forces that were over there, had to be warned, and the Qataris have to be warned, not in order to prevent the Israeli attack. Israel has a right to defend itself, and even President Trump himself has acknowledged that, including in this attack.
Yeah, your goals were noble, but perhaps the ways were not...
The ways were also okay, and we are coordinating with the United States. We are doing what we have to do, and they are doing what they have to do, and I think this cooperation will continue.
Okay. However, in your own country, in Israel, sir, Yair Lapid, opposition leader, he took to social media platform X to say, and I quote, Hamas members are sons of death. But at this stage, the Israeli government needs to explain how the IDF operation will not lead to the killing of the hostages and whether the risk to the hostages' life was taken into account in the decision to carry out the operations. It is forbidden to wait any longer. The war must be ended. They must be brought back home. Heart is with the families. But then this operation, with the bombing of Qatar, have you risked the lives of your hostages?
Well, we are a democracy, Gaurav, and in democracy, leaders, especially leaders of the opposition, have the right to criticize the actions of the government. I think we share, all in Israel, we share the concern for the hostages. I think that without military action, we have proved in the past that hostages cannot be retrieved. We have, through military action, put pressure, and then through negotiations, we've been able to retrieve 206 hostages. In order to release the rest of the hostages, nobody is going to volunteer. If we want to achieve the goal of bringing them back and also achieving a better future for the Gaza Strip, we will continue to have to put military pressure, especially in a time in which these terrorists are stalling for time.
So you think terrorists are stalling for time, they want to retain control, Hamas wants to retain control of Gaza, and Israel will not permit that?
Absolutely.
However, on this 8th of September, unfortunately, 6 Israelis were also killed in a terror attack, not just in Jerusalem, one of the deadliest shootings in Jerusalem. Right. Your soldiers were killed on the outskirts of Gaza. I believe 4 soldiers were killed. So all your efforts since 2022 till date, the threat remains.
Well, this is another proof, Gaurav, that the Hamas leadership in Doha that has directed this attack in Jerusalem is not serious in negotiating, in achieving peace, in renouncing power in the Gaza Strip. What they want to do is to continue their violence, continue the terror until Israel is eliminated. That's what they want to achieve.
And you will ensure that doesn't happen. In your stay in India, while you spoke of this great meeting between Nirmala Sitharaman and the finance minister of Israel and how it may pave the way for bilateral exchanges between the two countries at a much greater scale, you had a recent spat on social media with a prominent leader in the opposition party, in the Congress party, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, over her comments on Gaza and your response. And there are several opposition leaders who say that you overstepped, your diplomatic norms in that stage. Would you want to respond to that?
We are very sensitive when it comes to blood libels against our country. When we are blamed for genocide, when we are blamed for a policy of starvation, which are not true, we cannot stay silent, Gaurav, because too many blood libels have been waged against our people for the last 2,000 years, and as a result of these blood libels, thousands and millions of Jews have been killed. So it's okay to have criticism and to have a debate. But when you try to put a blood libel on our people, we, as representatives of the State of Israel, cannot stay silent.
And in your view, sir, this continues indefinitely, this war against Hamas? Is there a deadline? Is there a time frame in which you would be able to be in control of the Gaza Strip?
Well, there's not a strict timeline. We don't know how operations will go, and we don't like to share operational details about the IDF intentions. We hope that this situation can be sorted out in the coming months. And again, we would be very happy if we could stop this, not now, 1 year ago. The only thing that we need is for Hamas to accept its defeat, to release the hostages, and to cooperate with the Arab world and with the international community in creating a much better and bright future for the Gaza Strip.
Ambassador Reuven Azar, for joining me here on this India First special. Many thanks.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Good to see you, sir. So Israel's ambassador to India is very clear. Their operations against Hamas in Gaza will continue, and no place across the world in their appreciation is safe for Hamas, even if it means striking at Doha, Qatar. They're willing to take the consequences.